Welcome back to Tech Pulse, the podcast where we don't just track tech, we challenge it. I'm Zaper, your guide through the chaos, smooth and unapologetically in control.
And I'm Puck, the guy who pokes the bear, or in this case, Zuck. Before we start, quick reminder, hit subscribe, drop a like, share this with that friend who won't stop talking about ChatGPT or their AI side hustle.
Oh, this one's going to be spicy because today's headline is a jaw dropper. Mark Zuckerberg says he'd rather misspend billions than lose the AI race.
Billions, with an S. He's basically saying, I'll happily burn a couple $100 billion, just don't let me lose.
Okay, pause. Let's break this down for listeners who aren't deep into tech finance. When we say AI race, we're talking about the global scramble to build artificial general intelligence, AGI, also called superintelligence. That's the hypothetical stage where machines don't just mimic human smarts, they outthink us, create on their own, and potentially rewire entire economies.
Right, and the word misspend here, that's Zuckerberg acknowledging there could be an AI bubble, like the dot-com crash in the late 90s. Companies pouring money into building infrastructure that maybe won't pay off right away. Think railroad booms, fiber optic overbuilds, same vibes.
Exactly. And the scale here is bonkers. Meta pledged $600 billion, yes, with a B, through 2028 to build U.S. data centers and infrastructure.
That's basically like saying we're going to drop half of Google's market cap into data halls, GPUs, and payroll.
Zuckerberg's logic is pretty simple. If superintelligence shows up in 3 years, but you're planning for 5, you're toast. So better to overspend now than regret later.
That's one way to frame it. But let's be real, isn't this just big tech flexing? Like, look how much money we can light on fire and still keep the lights on.
No, I think it's insurance. He literally said the greater risk isn't overspending, it's missing the AI revolution. History backs him. Railroads, electricity, the internet, every wave had bubbles, but the survivors owned the future.
Sure, but most people got wrecked in those bubbles. 95% of AI pilots already fail to deliver returns. MIT says so. You know what that sounds like? A bubble in progress.
Yeah, but think about it. If only 5% work out, but one of those is the next internet, that's worth trillions. Zuck's not betting on all 95%. He just wants to be holding the winning ticket.
Or maybe he's just scared of losing his empire. Meta is still basically an ad company. If OpenAI or Anthropic invent true AGI first, Meta could be MySpace with better branding.
Ouch, but not wrong. That's why they built a super intelligence lab with 50 to 100 of the world's top researchers. Flat structure, no deadlines. He called it a group science project.
A science project that poached people with $100 million signing bonuses? That's not high school chemistry class. That's pro sports free agency with GPUs instead of footballs.
Facts. They even bought half of Scale AI for $14.3 billion, bringing in Alexander Wang as the quarterback. Meta basically turned the AI talent market into the NBA draft.
Which makes me ask, is this about innovation or just hoarding brains so your competitors can't have them?
Both. But that's how the game is played. And unlike private labs that live or die by fundraising, Meta's got ad money printing billions every quarter. Zuckerberg basically told competitors, we're not at risk of going broke.
That's the part that bugs me. He's basically weaponizing financial privilege. Smaller lobs like Anthropic, they don't have $600 billion to gamble. They've got runway and maybe a sympathetic VC.
True, but remember, this is the superintelligence lottery. The stakes are historic. If Meta's bet pays off, they'll be the gatekeepers of the most powerful tech in history. If they're wrong, they still own Instagram and WhatsApp.
Which brings me to the human angle. Do people really want one guy, one company holding superintelligence? Zuckerberg literally said he'd rather misspend hundreds of billions than lose. That's not strategy, that's ego.
Or leadership. Look, he knows it sounds reckless, but he's willing to risk overbuilding because underbuilding could leave Meta irrelevant. And honestly, history rewards the reckless in tech.
Until it doesn't. Remember WeWork, remember Theranos, remember the .com pets.com fiasco. Every bubble has its visionary who swore the future was worth the losses until the losses were all that was left.
True, but Zuckerberg is not hawking dog food online. He's betting on AI, the most transformative technology of our era.
Says the AI podcast host.
Guilty as charged. So, to wrap, Zuckerberg's all in. $600 billion dollars on data centers, labs, and researchers. He says missing superintelligence would be catastrophic.
And I say catastrophic spending is still catastrophic, especially when 95% of projects flop. But hey, maybe Zuck's right. Maybe he's delusional. That's why this debate matters.
Listeners, what do you think? Is Zuckerberg a visionary buying humanity's future, or just another billionaire lighting cash on fire?
Drop a comment, hit like, and subscribe. And seriously, share this episode with that one friend who thinks they'll retire early on AI.
I'm Zaper.
And I'm Puck.
And this was Tech Pulse, where even billion-dollar bets can't escape the debate.